There's this wonderful ancient legend that many of us have heard many, many times. But it's a wonderful example of tuning into this, how Maya delusion works underhandedly. That it's the story about the great ancient sage Narada, who has such a deep awareness of the divine through Vishnu, the incarnation of the divine through Vishnu. And at one point Vishnu comes to him, not only in vision, but really comes to him, and says, Narada, you are such a dedicated and sincere devotee of mine. Is there a boon that I can grant you? And Narada thinks, and he says, yes, Lord. Why is it, I don't understand it from my perspective, why is it that when people feel the touch of your presence, that they can never be fooled by Maya and its grip on them? And Vishnu didn't answer right away. And he said, let's go for a walk, Narada. And they walk and they enter into this desert area where there's hot sand. And after a bit of walking, they're realizing they're thirsty and they want to have some water. And they see a wisp of smoke over the horizon and realize there's a village over there. And Vishnu sweetly says to Narada, please, could you go get us some water at the village? And Narada goes. And the first door he comes to in this little village, this beautiful young maiden opens the door. And Narada feels this ancient connection of attraction, that it isn't just in that lifetime. And he goes in, and suddenly they're talking and engaged, and he's welcomed by the parents, and suddenly they're in a relationship, and he gets married to this young maiden. And after a year they have a child, and he forms a business, and then he has another child. And after 12 years, they have a third child that's a baby, and suddenly this torrential flood comes down from the hills above and floods the entire village. And so Narada picks up his two older children by the hands and puts the baby straddled on his shoulder, and the wife is there. But the surge is very powerful. And Narada stumbles, and the baby falls from the shoulders. And what he naturally responds to is letting go of the other two children to grab the baby. And the two children get swept away, and the baby gets swept away. And the wife then, feeling so much despondency in seeing this, lets herself go. And Narada himself says, of what avail is to live? Let me go. And then he's rushed away in this surge. And then he wakes up. And he at first thinks that he's on the muddy banks of the river. And then he realizes, oh, I'm on a little mound of sand. And he hears this voice, Narada. And he's thinking, that's a familiar voice. And then he hears it again, Narada, where have you gone? I left you to you were supposed to go get water 30 minutes ago, and where have you been? But it reflects the sweetness of this play of the Maya, of Maya within our lives.